Valentine's Day 2025 arrived with roses and chocolates, but also something darker. 4 massive Korean financial institutions simultaneously halted all silver transactions. Not temporarily, not with warnings, indefinitely ceased operations. On-screen text would have read, 4 Korean megabanks halted silver sales on Valentine's Day 2025. Coincidence? The timing suggests otherwise. That same February 14th, Chinese banking authorities redesignated precious metal holdings into elevated risk categories. Regular citizens lost overnight access to gold and silver through conventional financial pathways. Erased, blocked, finished. 72 hours later, India's primary bullion merchants received governmental documentation requests regarding substantial silver acquisitions. Not raids, not confiscations, just inquiries, just paperwork, just the opening move. Maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's coordinated policy. But the timing is too tight, and the impact is the same. Access is closing. In the next 12 minutes, I'll show you with documents, bank letters, and dealer recordings a 5-phase pattern that appears to be unfolding across developed economies. Whether deliberate coordination or parallel pressure, the effect on your ability to buy physical silver is identical. When access gets restricted, value is about to explode. Let me show you the 5-phase framework and where the evidence suggests we are right now. Phase 1, surveillance and registry building. Governments initiate tracking protocols, pure data aggregation. In the United States in 2024, the IRS broadened Form 8300 obligations. Cash dealings exceeding $10,000 now require comprehensive customer documentation. Social Security identifiers, residential addresses, employment details, complete financial backgrounds. They call it tax enforcement. But historically, wide net registries are the precursor to tighter controls. It doesn't guarantee seizure, but it expands the government's playbook dramatically. China advanced furthest. By the end of 2024, all precious metal banking transactions required biometric authentication and instantaneous reporting to central authorities. The surveillance infrastructure is complete. Phase 2, institutional pressure across Asia and the West. This is where the pattern becomes harder to ignore. South Korea deployed maximum pressure. 4 banks, within hours, suspended silver transactions indefinitely. KB Bank, Shinhan, Woori, and the Industrial Bank of Korea, entities managing trillions across global networks. If institutions with unlimited supply access stop selling silver, that signals something shifted. China implemented the 10-kilogram annual cap. India created bureaucratic obstacles. Same time frame, same asset class, same effect. Western institutions proved more nuanced. JP Morgan ceased accepting silver for lending collateral. Bank of America restricted silver access to accredited investors exclusively. PayPal and Stripe began declining bullion dealer transactions, not banned, gatekept. Wealthy individuals retain access. Middle-class buyers, priced out, regulated out, silently excluded. They're not protecting you from risk. They're protecting themselves from your escape. Phase 3, explicit purchase limitations spreading. This appears to be where we are now. China's approach, citizens can no longer purchase precious metals through banking channels. Completely blocked. They must use specialized government-licensed dealers facing transaction ceilings. 10 kilograms of silver per person annually, about 320 ounces. This isn't about consumption. It's about preventing wealth hedging at scale. India didn't prohibit buying. They made documentation requirements so complex most people abandoned attempts. PAN card verification, bank statements proving fund sources, tax clearance certificates for larger purchases. Europe is preparing similar frameworks, not yet implemented, but proposed. Maximum quarterly citizen purchases, industrial user exemptions, cross-border transfer reporting requirements. The infrastructure is being positioned. Historical precedents matter. Argentina in 2001, Greece in 2015, Cyprus in 2013, all implemented capital controls overnight during crises. The wealthy had already moved assets offshore. The middle class got trapped. Phase 4, supply chain bottlenecks emerging. Whether coordinated or not, distribution channels are tightening. Multiple Australian bullion dealers reported abrupt bank account terminations, not for violations, risk management decisions by banks under regulatory pressure. No bank account means no business. American payment processors began declining precious metal transactions. Stripe stopped processing for bullion websites. PayPal restricted accounts. They're not banning transactions. They're making them painful. Import flows are slowing. Mexico implemented export quotas in late 2024, limiting monthly tonnage for commercial exports. Priority was given to domestic industrial users. Russia banned precious metals exports to sanctioning countries. 10% of global supply suddenly unavailable to Western buyers. This creates a 2-tier system. Industrial users, defense contractors, and government-approved buyers receive priority access. Retail investors fight for what remains, and what remains shrinks daily. Phase 5. The legal framework already exists. I'm not predicting this will happen. I'm showing you it could happen because it has happened. Executive Order 6102, April 5, 1933. Franklin Roosevelt mandated all United States citizens surrender gold to the Federal Reserve. Non-compliance meant a $10,000 fine and 10 years imprisonment. People complied. They surrendered gold purchased at $20.60 per ounce. Then immediately after collection, the government revalued gold to $35. Instant wealth transfer from citizens to the state. The Gold Reserve Act of 1934 granted the president permanent authority to regulate gold ownership during national emergencies. The Silver Purchase Act of 1934 provided similar powers. These laws still exist, modified, not eliminated. The legal mechanism sits dormant. I'm not saying confiscation will happen again, but the framework remains available and governments under stress have historically used it. Why this pattern appears to be accelerating now? Three forces have converged, creating what seems like an impossible governmental situation. First, industrial demand explosion. Current projections show industrial consumption overtaking mining supply by 2030, even under conservative scenarios. Solar panels, electric vehicles, 5G infrastructure, AI data centers, laws requiring energy transition guarantee demand growth. Second, monetary system fragility. $33 trillion in United States debt, sustained negative real interest rates, coordinated central bank expansion. Gold already ran above $2,000, beyond reach for most. Silver remains affordable, still accessible. Capital flight to silver represents a vote of no confidence in currency systems. That creates pressure. Third, structural supply constraints. 70% of silver is a byproduct of other mining. You cannot independently increase silver production. Base metal prices remain weak. Capital expenditures sit at multi-decade lows. The deficit appears structural and growing. Governments need silver for strategic industries and defense, but unrestricted citizen access creates tension with that need. This appears to be the contradiction being managed right now. Let me show you what I found this week. I called 3 major U.S. dealers. Here's what they reported. We are no longer accepting new orders for 100-ounce bars indefinitely. Silver Eagles currently have 12 to 14-week wait times. Premiums $9 over spot, highest we've seen outside 2020. A translated suspension notice from KB Bank states, silver sales suspended effective immediately. No timeline provided for resumption. A local dealer told me, wait times tripled in 60 days. Inventory we could restock weekly now takes months. Something's definitely changing in the supply chain. This isn't theory. These are verifiable changes happening right now. I'm not telling you what to buy. I'm showing you what I'm observing and what I'm doing personally. If these patterns continue, physical metal in your possession appears to offer something paper claims cannot. Elimination of counterparty risk, not ETFs, not mining stocks, not futures, physical coins and bars you control, American Silver Eagles, Canadian Maple Leafs, 100-ounce bars from recognized refiners. Recognizable forms matter for liquidity when systems experience stress. Storage location matters. Remember 1933, banks granted government access to safety deposit boxes during confiscation. Third-party vaults are controlled by institutions. The entire point of physical holdings is removing counterparty risk. Storage should reflect that principle. The window for easy access appears to be shrinking. If these patterns accelerate over the next 3 to 12 months, the buying environment may look very different. I'm not selling anything. I have no affiliate relationships with dealers. This is pattern recognition shared transparently. The pattern is clear, surveillance systems active, institutional pressure visible, explicit controls spreading, supply chains tightening, legal frameworks positioned. By the time mainstream financial media reports widespread shortages, dealers will likely be sold out and premiums may be prohibitive for most buyers. People who recognize pattern shifts early and position accordingly typically preserve more optionality than those who wait for confirmation. Don't take my word for it. Verify this yourself. Check your local dealers. Call banks. Ask about purchasing precious metals. Read the new regulatory guidance. Track the policy changes. It's all public and documented. This isn't conspiracy theory. These are policy shifts, whether coordinated or parallel, creating measurable effects on access. If you found this analysis valuable, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Understanding these patterns as they unfold, not after they've completed, determines who maintains financial optionality. The question isn't whether restrictions will tighten further. The question is, which side of the access window will you be on if they do? Will you position yourself while access remains relatively open, or wait for confirmation when everyone else is competing for diminishing supply? The choice is yours, but the window appears to be narrowing.